Hello all, welcome to my channel. So today we can learn the poem A Tiger in the Zoo, which is written by Leslie Norris. So this poem is also a short poem, and here what we can see is that the poet tries to tell the contrast between two different situations. That is, it tells about a tiger that lives in the zoo. Okay, as the title suggests, it tells about a tiger in the zoo. And here we can see the contrast between the life of the tiger in the zoo and the life of a tiger when it is in its natural habitat, that is the forest. Okay, so we can see two contrasts, that is in natural when a tiger is in natural environment and when it is in captivity for audience. So in the zoo, animals are kept for visitors to see. Okay, so when it is used for entertainment purpose, what the tiger undergoes. Okay, so we can see about that, and also a tiger that lives life to the fullest in the jungle. So these are the two contrasts that we can see in the poem. So when any questions are asked, you can always try to use these keywords. Okay, the first paragraph tells us about a tiger that's in the zoo. In the next two paragraph, it tells about the life of a tiger when it's in the jungle, and then again we come back to the situation where the tiger is in the zoo. So that is how the poem goes. Okay, now let us read the poem. He stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage, on paths of velvet, quiet, in his quiet rage. Okay, so here it is clearly understood that this stanza speaks about the tiger that is in the zoo, because we can see the word cage. Okay, so that refers or that means that in this paragraph, the writer or the poet talks about the tiger which is in the zoo. So he stalks. Stalks means moving quietly or slowly in his vivid stripes. Vivid means intense, deep, bright. Okay. So the tiger has got stripes on its body, as we all know, and the stripes would be darker than the rest of the body. That is why we can clearly see those stripes. So it is vivid, means it's deep and bright, those stripes. The tiger is so beautiful to see. Okay, he stalks, so he is moving quietly in his cage. That is what we can understand. So here in the opening stanza, the poet describes the physical appearance of the tiger. The physical features of the tiger is described in this first opening stanza. The few steps of his cage. Now, why has the word few steps been used there? When a tiger is in a cage, obviously the cage would have a definite size. Okay, it's not like a jungle that is vast and widespread. A cage and a jungle are entirely two different things. A jungle is vast, okay, the tiger can go anywhere it wants, whereas a cage is a confined space. So the tiger is restricted, or it's able to move only inside that confined space. And there is obviously little or less space than that of the forest. So it's possible to only walk few steps on paths of velvet, quiet. It refers to the feet of the tiger. It is cushioned. We know the tiger has got fur on its body, okay? And the feet of the tiger, it is padded, okay? It has got a cushioned effect. In his quiet rage, rage means anger or the frustration that the tiger has. So he's not expressing himself. The tiger is angry and frustrated, yet he is not able to express himself because of his helplessness. He's caged, okay, so there is nothing that he can do. That is what the first stanza tells us. Now let's move on to the second stanza. He should be lurking in the shadow, sliding through long grass, near the water hole where plump deer passes. So here we can clearly understand that here what is the poet trying to say? It's about the tiger that lives in the jungle, because we can understand that through these words, lurking in the shadow. Lurking means hiding so as to wait for something. We know we have seen those videos where the tiger would hide for some time, so that the other animal like a deer that would not know that the tiger is observing it, and then suddenly the tiger would pounce upon its prey. That is how a tiger behaves. So if he was in the forest, he would be hiding behind something. He would be hiding in the shadow, or he would be sliding through the long grass. He would be walking through the long grass near the water hole. So, the area in the forest where all the animals would come to drink water, he would go there where the plum deer passes. plum means fat. So when a fat deer would pass, what would the tiger do? It would pounce upon, it would jump on its prey. Okay, so this we can see here that the tiger is in its natural habitat, that is the jungle, and here it is living life to its fullest. He is able to walk freely through the long grass, he can hide behind the shadow, he can go near the water hole and can pounce upon its prey whenever he wants. Now let's see the third stanza. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. He should be snarling. Snarling means make angry or warning sounds. So he would be making angry sounds, okay, at the jungle's edge. So at the jungle's edge where the village would start, okay, at that point he would come and he would frighten the villagers there, okay. He would make warning sounds. He would baring his white fangs. He would show, here fangs refers to the teeth of the tiger, the long teeth of the tiger. So he would show off his teeth, his claws, okay, and he would frighten the villagers. So displaying his sharp teeth and claws, he would terrorize the villagers. Okay, so this stanza also talks about the tiger that lives in the jungle. Now let's move on to the next. But he's locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. So now in this stanza we can understand that this stanza talks about the tiger that is in the zoo. He is locked in a concrete cell, means he is caged. He is inside his cage. His strength behind bars, though the tiger is a mighty animal, it's a very strong animal, yet his strength is behind the bars. He is in a cage and he cannot display his strength. Stalking the length of his cage, the only thing that he can do is to walk through his cage, is to just simply walk through the length of his cage, and that cage is also a small one. It's very much small. We cannot even compare it to the jungle, to the vast jungle. We cannot compare a cage. So what he can do is just walk through the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. So he is not interested in those in visitors also. In the earlier paragraph, the tiger, he would frighten the villagers, okay, but now that same tiger, when he is caged, he would ignore visitors. So here the natural instinct of the tiger is lost. He's not scaring the people, he is just ignoring them. So here when an animal is displaced from its natural environment and is placed somewhere else, what happens to the tiger? It is traumatized, okay, it loses its natural instincts. Now let's move on to the last stanza. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. This stanza also, the poet talks about the tiger that is caged or that is in the zoo. So the last voice that the tiger hears at the night is that of the patrolling cars. It's not in its natural environment, okay. So he can hear the sounds of those patrolling cars and stares with his brilliant eyes. So he looks with his brilliant eyes, it sees the brilliant stars. Only thing that the tiger is doing is it stares at these stars, okay. The tiger is staring at the stars, it is lost in thoughts. So the tiger, which is a very ferocious animal, a very strong animal, it's not able to live life to its fullest inside a cage. It is traumatized, it has lost its natural instincts, okay. He is lost in thoughts. That is why the tiger stares at the sky. And what does he hear at the night? He hears the sound of the patrolling cars. We know that at night time there would be patrolling that is happening, okay. So he is able to hear the sound of those cars and he is lost in his own world. So we can see the effect when an animal is displaced from its natural environment to the zoo for the purpose of entertainment. So how traumatized is the animal? It has lost its natural instincts, okay. So the tiger has lost its opportunity, it has lost its right to live life to the fullest. So that is what the poet has tried to convey through this poem. I hope you have understood the poem, and whenever you give answers for the questions that are coming from this, always include keywords that we have used here, okay. There are many keywords that we have used in between in the explanation part. So always try to include keywords in your answers, and that is how you can fetch more marks in English. Okay, I hope all of you would have understood. Thank you for watching.